Here are 6 signs that you have stepped into a higher vibration, or you've raised your vibration or your state of consciousness. So number 1 is that you feel more optimistic, right? So if you're typically that person that's always kind of negative, always looking at the things that are going wrong in life, and all of a sudden you've shifted to a more positive perspective. You're starting to see, what's going right. You're starting to notice what's actually working out for you. Right? If this is naturally happening, then this is a huge sign that you have shifted into a higher state of consciousness, or you have raised your vibration. The second sign is that things that used to bother you or trigger you don't have the same effect. So let's say, for instance, it's that neighbor that you run into in the morning that always bothers you, right? But you wake up one morning and you realize that they're doing the same thing, or they're saying the same thing, but it just rolls off you. It doesn't bother you. It doesn't trigger you. It doesn't even create any emotional reaction within you. So this is a huge sign that you have stepped into a higher vibration, or you've raised your state of consciousness. The reason why this is because when we step into a higher vibe, we don't really have access to those lower vibrational emotions as easily. So when we're in a low vibration, all we have access to is our fears and our worries and our stresses and the things that make us sad and depressed and angry. And of course, there's a place for that, right? We all fall into that sometimes. But when we're in that state, if something happens, it's so much easier to be triggered into that because we're already right there. Right? But when we raise our state of consciousness, we're in a whole other dimension. We're in a whole other world. So all of that, those fearful programs and feelings are actually further away. We're not as in tune or connected. So they're not going to be these huge trigger points as much anymore. So it's not to say that you're never going to get triggered, but if you find that you're less triggered, if you find that the person who, almost hits you in the traffic lane doesn't really get to you today, right? It's like that person that cut you off doesn't really get to you. That's an amazing sign that you've raised your vibration and you're not allowing these things to affect you. So the third sign is that you start meeting a ton of high vibrational people. And we all know a high vibrational person. This is someone who walks into the room and literally lights up the room because their energy is so vibrant, right? So when you're starting to connect with these people, whether it's you're meeting them as strangers or maybe you're reconnecting with old friends and you find that they're in a higher vibration, whatever it is, when you're starting to connect and the universe is actually drawing you into the same world or the same bubble with high vibrational people, hey, you're there. So this is a great sign that you've raised your vibration as well. The fourth sign, and I think that this is actually one of the most important signs, is that you have more energy. You have more natural energy. So you notice that when you wake up in the morning, you're excited, you're enthusiastic, you're excited about the day, into the night, there's so much energy, so much natural energy. And the reason why this is because we have energy when our chakras are in alignment. So when we are a clear channel, then we're able to allow life force energy, prana, to move through us. So naturally, of course, we're going to feel more motivated to do things during the day when we're in a higher vibration, because a lower vibration means that we are losing energy. We're losing power. So naturally, we're going to feel more exhausted. We're going to feel more tired. So the fifth sign is that you let go of the need to control everything. So you start to realize your inherent power as you raise your vibration. You start to harness the energy of happiness and joy and peace and contentment from an internal state, right? So it's not happening because of something externally. So you're starting to really get control of your emotional state, which means that when you're more in control of your emotions, you feel less of a need to control the outer world, less of a need to control people, less of a need to control circumstances, because you're in control, right? When we start to feel like we need to control everything outside of us, it's because internally we don't feel much control. Internally, we don't feel much power. This is a huge sign that you have stepped into a higher vibration. The last sign is that you experience more clarity. So where you were once feeling really confused, you now feel that you have this certainty or this clarity. It doesn't mean that you know everything. It just means that there is more alignment with mind, body, and soul, right? And so again, going back to the chakras, when our chakras are all in tune and aligned, of course, our third eye is going to open up. Our crown chakra is going to open up. And that connects us to our higher selves. And that clarity comes from being connected to that higher power. The higher your emotional state, the closer in connection you are to the vibration and the feeling of love, which is our natural source. So if you think about it, the more connected we are to our natural state of being, of course, the more clarity we're going to have. The more we go into the mind, the more we go into the ego, the more we move into fear, we're moving away from our natural state. Because fear is not our natural state. That's why it feels so uncomfortable. So of course, we're going to have more confusion when we're in fear. But when we raise our vibration, we become in alignment with love, and love gives us that clarity. So these are 6 signs that you have stepped into a higher vibration. If these resonate with you guys, definitely comment below and let us know. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. If you guys are interested in expanding your spiritual knowledge and awareness, if you want to learn how to love yourself on the deepest level possible, and when I mean that, I really mean beyond the mind, beyond just self-care practices, but really learn to connect to your higher self and tap into your soul energy, as well as learn how to take your power back in any area of your life and consciously manifest the life of your dreams. This is exactly why I've created Ignite Your Soul Self-Mastery School. I also now have one-on-one coaching. So if you're wanting to dive into the school courses, but also be able to work with a spiritual coach one-on-one for an entire month, definitely check out the link below. All right? But I'm sending you guys absolute love and light, and I'll see you soon. Take care.